What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Dual Sense Podcast. This is episode 77. I'm one of your co hosts, Jason, and I'm joined, as always, by Hefe, otherwise known as Travis. Travis, what's going on?
Not much. You know what? Do you know what Hefe means?
I don't. Does it mean like boss?
It means like, yeah, in a way, but it means like chief, like the
I
head
like it.
honcho.
I like
Which
that.
honcho isn't a Spanish word; it's a bastardization of the Spanish language that we did over here in American land.
What does WAPO mean? Do you know?
Guapo?
Is
No,
it
I'll yell it at somebody on Monday, and I'll find out.
does that mean handsome, maybe? Hmm.
Guapo.
The
Guapo.
crocodile's name on Far Cry, his name is WAPO.
See, that's the thing. I don't even know how to
WAPO.
spell it because I can't tell if that's a W or a J or a Y.
That is a G, friend. That is
Yeah.
GUAPO. WAPO.
Yeah. Okay. See, perfect.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hold on. I'm googling. It means handsome.
Oh, nice. I like that. I want that to be my name. So I love that the crocodile is called Handsome. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Travis, before we move on here, I did want to take a moment to recognize that I don't know if you saw my tweet earlier from the Twitter account, but we had a bad tornado outbreak here where we're from in Kentucky last night. It was, by many accounts, one of the deadliest tornado outbreaks in U.S. history, and one tornado that did the most devastation was on the ground for over 200 miles. 200 miles, which is just insane. You and I were talking as it was heading our way, so to speak, and you're keeping up on Twitter with just some insane data that they were pulling in off of the tornado and whatnot. So I think the death count's over 100 at this point, and it's most of the damage and catastrophe. It was stayed west of us, but we had friends and family in the line of fire, if you will, and but luckily or not luckily, I guess thankfully, it didn't come through our city, so we avoided the worst of it. But didn't want to go without acknowledging it, and we may do something this week to try to help with the relief efforts. But nonetheless, it was not a good night for us here in the Commonwealth, if you will. So anyway, let's get to much happier things here. For the uninitiated, Travis, or the noobs, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together and discuss all things PlayStation, news, rumors, new games, and much more. And we do it all in under 90 minutes per usual. We post all new episodes on the usual podcast services as well as YouTube, where we also share game streams and clips, which we've been doing quite a bit of lately. This week, I shared a 10-minute gameplay clip from the Unreal Engine 5 demo, which we're going to talk about in a little while. And also, you can find us on social media if you want to reach out to us and talk with us. We're on Twitter, of course, at the DualSense Pod. We're also on Instagram and Facebook, and we do have a blog. It's called the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.co. Although I'm quite terrible at updating that. I have to be much better about that, I'll admit. Anyway, without further ado here, Travis, let's jump right into a rather beefy, meaty week of news here. Number one, Travis, we had the much beloved Game Awards this week. Jeff Keighley's Game Awards took place on Thursday evening, and I thought the best way, I watched the show. I don't think you did. Maybe you did. I'm not sure, but I did watch the show from start to finish. It was a haul, let me tell you. And what I did here is I broke things down by three categories. One was the pre-show. There was a 30-minute pre-show, and they did make some announcements there. And then the second category that I put things in was the main show, of course. And then I separately broke down the awards that are relevant to PlayStation. So I thought we would just work our way through here. And if there's anything that we want to say along the way, feel free to jump in here and I'll do the same. So the pre-show opened at about 7:30 our time, and to start things off, we discovered that there would be a second open beta test for King of Fighters 15 that'll be coming to both PS4 and PS5 starting on December the 17th. They also showed off a multiplayer Texas Chainsaw Massacre game from Sumo Nottingham, which was announced.
which is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
There's a heavy metal rock band that makes every song based off of horror movies or
Oh, really?
oh, now I can't think of what they're called. They exist, Google them. Anyway, so it's interesting to see a game kind of follow that, I guess I don't know, that template, I guess. But the
Yeah.
band is really good, actually. So yeah, this could be cool, but I think it'll be more culty, kind of like the Friday the 13th game than anything. I don't think it's going to turn into like a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of mega hit.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, and I did not see the trailer, so I'm not sure about that one. After that, we saw Telltale Games, which announced their new game based on the popular show and book series The Expanse, which is kind of interesting. Babylon's Fall, we got a new trailer for it. It's an action RPG from Platinum Games that they announced will be coming out on March the 3rd, day before your beloved Gran Turismo 7.
Mm,
The Tripwire Interactive folks announced that Chivalry 2, our very much beloved Chivalry 2, will get a new DLC expansion called House Aberfell in early 2022, which I believe is like an Irish or Scottish like expansion. Well,
yeah,
it looked really cool.
you get our third house. We get another faction, if you will.
Yes, exactly. That's fun. They also announced that there was a Shivmas event going on, is what they're calling
Uh
it,
huh.
with different Christmas fairs.
Yeah,
So
they
that's
have
fun.
those in prison too. They just end a little
They
different.
they sure do.
I'm still waiting on the horses, guys.
Oh, I know. God, can you imagine? Oh, that's gonna be so awesome. I'd forgotten about that. Thank you. Then Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is an expansion to Monster Hunter Rise. We got a trailer for it, which revealed that it would be releasing in the summer of 2022. And then there was Headbanging Rhythm first person shooter Metal Hellsinger. They shared a new trailer and it is coming to PS5, we learned. And then a game called Thirsty Suitors was announced. Whatever the fuck that was, I have no idea. I think it is something along the lines of that PlayStation Plus game that we just got recently that's like the multiplayer social party game. What is that? First Class or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where it's like
We just
Among
got
Us,
it.
basically.
Yeah, I feel like it's something like that, but maybe not. And then a gameplay trailer for action shooter game Evil West from developer Flying Wild Hog was shown, and it looked fucking awesome. And it looked like it might have co-op play. So look up that if you're at all interested in like a third person just kill everything. It was like third person Doom meets like Gears of War is kind of what and Van Helsing. It looked dope. And then finally in the pre-show, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax was announced to be coming to PS4 on March the 17th for all you fucking nerds. So then we got into the main show, the big boy. So obviously I've just listed the PlayStation relevant announcements here. I didn't list everything. We don't care about PC and Xbox things. So this is just PlayStation stuff, duh. So the first announcement that we got that was PlayStation relevant was from developer Quantic Dream, the formerly second party Sony studio who announced their rumored Star Wars game with a cinematic trailer. And we learned that it would be an action adventure game set in the High Republic era. And
Oh,
it's called Star Wars
is that
Eclipse.
one of your favorite Star Wars eras?
I have no idea what that
Yeah, I'm
means.
pretty up to date on them. I think it's a really good one.
It's a great era.
I always feel like that people get excited about these Star Wars games and then they're just never good.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. It's a risky IP to make games and movies for, but in
So hard.
particular games because it's hard. It's hard to get it right. It's hard not to make people upset. It's very tricky fan base to figure out. But we'll see. Quantic Dream doing that and making it more of an action game is interesting to me. So we'll see. But supposedly they're like 4 or 5 years away on that game, so we'll forget about it
Yeah, so
before
never
then.
mind.
Yeah, yeah. Up next was a Wonder Woman game, which was announced from Monolith, which is and Warner Brothers Games, and they are the studio behind the Middle Earth games like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. And we learned that the game will feature the literally patented Nemesis system that was used in Shadow of War. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested in that. It's a big fart noise for you,
Yeah,
though. I
but
mean, it
like,
is Wonder Woman. It's not a character I like, but
oh, because
it's an
she's a
interesting
woman or because
because she's wonderful.
okay. Well, one of the things I was thinking about is like if I'm using the lasso
Mm.
or how the fuck do I find my plane? It's invisible. I just had a lot of questions about stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's interesting, I guess, but I'm just again, another superhero thing, another
yeah,
superhero IP. Like
that's a good
the
point.
weird thing that about all these superhero IPs is it seems like the only one that works is Spider-Man, and I don't know why.
Mm. Yeah, ever since the Batman Arkham games, like the Batman
Yeah, yeah,
Arkham games really started off like those, like to me, those are maybe the best superhero if you
right.
want to. I mean, Batman's a
And I
superhero.
feel like those are like a direct relative of the Chris Nolan movie. Like without the movie, we don't get a game like that because that
Mhm.
game was like serious.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. It's dark.
all the Batman games I remember playing on like whatever I was on like Super Nintendo and stuff like that. I don't remember them being like that. They were like, well, they're basically
Yeah.
arcade games.
Oh yeah. No, but you could definitely make the argument that the Insomniac Spider-Man games are the best superhero games. No doubt you can make that argument, but we'll see. The Nemesis system really is what has piqued my curiosity and how that works in a Wonder Woman game. I don't know. I don't know enough about that character to understand how the two relate, but
I think that she like pulls her tits out and then people just surrender. I think that's how that works.
Gal Gadot looking very fine.
Mhm. Big
Also,
mommy
Travis.
milkers.
After that, Travis, Alan Wake 2 from Remedy Entertainment was announced, and it'll be coming in 2023. And we also learned that it will be a full blown survival horror game. So think like Resident Evil, something like that, and like classic Resident Evil. So that's interesting. I really enjoyed the first Alan Wake game. We knew that Alan Wake 2 basically was in development, had been rumored heavily. I don't know how I feel about it being survival horror. It is a neat universe, or a neat story, I guess, to do that with. So maybe.
It could be fun. Like that's the thing is it's
Yeah,
either gonna be there'll be pushback regardless because it's not like the first one, but
right.
I think that making it a survival horror game is a calculated risk. If it hits
Hmm.
and it's done well, like it's gonna make that IP a lot bigger than it was after the first one, I think. I think that's kind of
Right.
where their head is.
It's also a way to do something different because they made Alan Wake. It's an action adventure game. They made Control. It's an action adventure game.
True.
So they're taking a step in a different direction. So it's with a dormant IP basically. It's like 10-year-old game or something like that. So it's it might pay off. After that, we saw Horizon Forbidden West, a new gameplay trailer from Guerrilla Games, and it featured a robot snake, Travis. So that's new. We now have robot snakes, so you'll definitely not be playing this
Yeah,
game.
what are we doing?
And we we also got a cringe musical performance following that with a singer who was lip syncing very clearly
So,
the whole
was
time.
it Mariah Carey on New Year's or like Mila Vanelli?
It was like Mariah Carey on. No, it wasn't. Mm, it was more like Millie Vanilli, I think. It wasn't Mariah Carey bad, but it was still very obvious. So anyway, but that game looks fucking phenomenal. I mean, there's just no doubt about that. That is a banger. That's like a 90 Metacritic banger, in my opinion. Then we saw Bokeh Game Studio and creative director Keiichiro Toyama, formerly of Silent Hill. They announced their new survival horror game called Slitterhead, which is an awful name.
Slitterhead, I barely know her.
Oh man, I don't know about that one. And then we got a new Lord of the Rings Gollum trailer, Travis, which is whatever. And after that, PUBG, a new trailer for PUBG announced that it would be moving to free to play starting on January the 12th. They have to do that to compete at this point, which is weird because they were the original Battle Royale.
And it's gone, basically. They like
And yeah,
I mean, sometimes things like that happen where you're the original and they lose it and you're like, "Those guys just messed up." I'm not sure they really necessarily messed up. They just got somebody just had better stuff.
yeah, absolutely. And that happens. Then we saw a trailer for Cuphead DLC, which is called The Delicious Last Course, which John is very excited about. And they
Yeah.
announced that it would release on June the 30th. Following that, Sonic Frontiers, which is the latest and greatest 3D Sonic game, shared a trailer and it announced that the game will release in December of next year on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Then we saw a gameplay trailer for PlayStation indie title Tachia. Chia? I have no idea how to say it. And it is coming. We learned that it's coming sometime in the spring of 2022 on both PS4 and PS5. I don't think that game's for me. I don't know. It doesn't look very appealing to me, but We'll see. After that, Travis, we got a world gameplay premiere trailer from Rocksteady and their new Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. And I got to say that I was not at all interested in this game until this gameplay trailer. I'm
Yeah.
kind of interested now.
I guess my biggest thing with it is I don't know why we're killing the Justice League. So,
They're corrupted or something.
okay. Do we just make
Like
stuff up
they're
at this point?
possessed by an alien or some shit.
Oh, okay, that's exciting. All right, well, is that what happened with Alan Wake?
Basically, yeah. But yeah, they're you can tell in the trailers they have like red shit oozing from their eyes, like Superman
That's
and the
fucking
Flash and
gross.
stuff.
I
So
think that's Ebola.
I it is Ebola. Ask Juliana Margulies about that. But I'm like I said, I'm interested now in this game. I thought the gameplay trailer was a good trailer. It looked cool. It looked fun. I actually kind of understand the humor of the Suicide Squad now after watching the latest movie earlier this year. So I'll get it a little bit. The question that I have is the one that I've posed on here before is that is Suicide Squad really the IP that we need and want Rocksteady on? I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe just make a Justice League game, or I don't know. Just make a Batman game like that one that was in development years ago and got canceled that we talked about that we thought was a Batman Beyond game.
Right.
Oh my god, that'd be fucking awesome. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong, but it did look cool. I'll give them that. It piqued my interest. After that, we got a new story and gameplay trailer for PlayStation 5 exclusive Forspoken. It was announced to be releasing on May the 24th, with pre orders now available, including a digital deluxe edition that includes early access to story DLC, which is scheduled to release next winter. I do think this game also looks cool, and
Mhm.
I'm interested in it. But like I told John, I feel like there's just something that I'm not quite sold
Right.
on it yet, and so it makes me want to wait for reviews.
It has, like, the Godfall virus to me is what it feels like.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I also don't have a terrible amount of faith in Square Enix at the
Well,
moment.
that's their fault. Do you think that all the pre-orders will be for spoken for?
I would say so. After that, publisher Focus Entertainment announced action game Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, which will be coming to PS5 at some point in the future. And it looked kind of cool, but
Mhm.
I've never played a Warhammer game in my life
Yeah, it's pretty cool that they had to go through 40,000 of those, and then they finally thought, "Hey, let's get a Space Marine."
for a second time.
Space Marine doesn't really make sense to me. Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. 'Cause I'm thinking of Marine as a water thing, like a marine animal, as
Yeah.
opposed to, like, the Marines. I guess
Yeah.
that does make sense.
Yeah. Space is the deep black sea, whatever they call it.
Oh,
That
what do
movie
they
with
call it
Sam
there?
Jackson.
The one where the shark eats them?
Yeah, fucking shark ate me. So then next up, Travis, we got a new Saints Row gameplay trailer, and that game continues to look phenomenal, in my opinion. I am so excited for that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna fill what people want. It's gonna fill a little niche.
Absolutely. It's going to scratch that Grand Theft Auto itch, hopefully for 5 years, since we're going to have to wait 5 more years at that point to get GTA 6. But God, that looks great. And then a new gameplay trailer for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was shown off, and we learned that it will be releasing on March 25th. I don't think that was announced before, but maybe it was. I'm not interested in that game at all. And then a VR version of Among Us was announced, and it will be coming to PSVR at some point in the future. And then Genshin Impact revealed a new character gameplay trailer for some upcoming DLC characters that they're going to have in the popular free to play game. After that, the French Revolution action RPG that has both of our interests peaked, Travis, called Still Rising. They showed a new cinematic trailer with a little bit of story beats to it, and we learned that it will be releasing in June of next year.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah. After that, a game called Star Trek Resurgence was announced, and it will be coming to PS4 and PS5 sometime in early 2022. Developer Iron Galaxy announced free to play 40 player melee combat battle royale game Rumbleverse after that, and it's being published by Epic Games. And interested players can sign up for testing events right now at the game's website. I already did that, of course. I've been accepted to the beta or whatever they're calling it, early access. I've forgotten to download it. So I'm going to download it and see what it's about, and I'll report back here next week. let you all know if it's worth a shit or not. But it's a neat concept. We then saw a new trailer from Asobo Studio for A Plague Tale Requiem, the sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence, and it looked pretty good. I don't know if I'll
Yeah, I
play it
need
though.
you to play that so you can tell just update me on the story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You don't want to play games with rats all over you though, right?
I don't remember why I stopped playing it.
Oh, did you try and oh, you did try and play it, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I think
Yeah.
I played, like, the first 2 or 3 chapters, and then I just didn't play it again.
That's right. Yeah, it was a good game. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10, which is pretty good. So I enjoyed it. We then saw a Dying Light 2 CG trailer from developer Techland, which didn't really bring anything to the table and was kind of weird to be a CG trailer after they've shown so much gameplay. You would feel
Yeah,
like,
why are we doing CG trailers?
yeah, that's just a weird. In my, I thought that immediately. I was like, that is such a weird move. You have shown so much gameplay already of this game, and then the opportunity you have to show tens of millions of people gameplay of your game to get them interested, you show a CG trailer, which
Yeah.
almost immediately turns most people off.
It sounds like people at the top who don't know what the hell's going on.
Exactly. So that was a blunder, in my opinion. After that, new Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt gameplay trailer was shown from Shark Mob, and we learned that it's now coming in spring of 2022 to PlayStation
Mhm.
5. So I feel like that's like a further delay because I knew we talked about on here how they delayed it out of 2021, but I thought that they had said early 2022 and now it's spring of 2022, which
Yeah.
I wouldn't classify as early.
I think, yeah, it to me, it seems like they maybe bumped it back on me, and they thought, "Well, there's
Yeah.
a lot of shit. Maybe we should aim for, like, May."
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, like we talked about, I think last week. I mean, these people are just going to have to put their fucking games out. Like, there are so many games coming next year, and there's a lot of them that have release dates probably in mind that haven't announced yet. Like, at some point, it's not going to matter. You're going to be within like 14 days of a big game. So you're
Right.
just going to have to bite the bullet and go for it. After that, we got a new Elden Ring trailer for all you nerds out there. Just doesn't move the needle for me at all. And then new developer Embark Studio revealed their first game called Ark Raiders, which is a free to play cooperative third person shooter coming to PS5 sometime in 2022. And this looked fucking awesome. Did you watch the trailer for this?
No, but I assume Indiana Jones found the Ark, and he's teamed up with the Raiders, maybe? Is that what's going on?
Not quite, not quite. I'll send you the video and you can look at it later. It's pretty dope looking. After that, we started to get into the home stretch of the show, more than the home stretch. We started to wrap things up here. Mr. Keeley did after we were hitting the 3 hour mark. We had Mr. Keanu Reeves come out and unveil the Matrix Awakens experience for Unreal Engine 5, and it's available right now on PS5 if you'd like to download that. That's basically an engine demo with some, it's playable. You can play some gameplay and then also explore in the open world, which I have already taken the liberty to do for you. If you don't want to mess with it, you can just watch our little 10-minute video on our YouTube page. I did record in 4K for you, so the best quality I could get, and you should check it out. It's pretty incredible. I have some more things to say about that later at the end of the show.
Yeah,
And
it's already more put together than Cyberpunk.
absolutely. And then to wrap up the show, Travis, the as far as the announcements, cooperative game, It Takes Two won Game of the Year, and Wildman creative director Joseph Ferris once again said, "Fuck the Oscars," screamed it, and so that guy's hilarious. So that's how the show ended. And then in terms of the award winners that are relevant, as I just mentioned, It Takes Two won overall Game of the Year, which you could argue is questionable. But then after that, as far as other relevant awards, Deathloop won Best Game Direction. They also won Best Art Direction. Kena Bridge of Spirits won Best Indie Game. They also won Best Indie Debut. And then Returnal won Best Action Game. It's awesome. And then Guilty Gear Strive won Best Fighting Game. And Final Fantasy 14 Online won Best Ongoing Game. So that's all the PlayStation relevant awards, if you will. And yeah, I mean, in terms of the show overall, I thought it was like a B. I thought it was a little bit too long, and it's also not really an awards show. I wish we would just call it what it is. So, but that's pretty much it. That's the Game Awards 2021 in a nutshell for you, in just under 25 minutes or so. So you're welcome. Now let's get to some more news here with number two. Sony Interactive Entertainment announced the acquisition of another new studio, Travis. This time it's Seattle based developer Valkyrie Entertainment. Valkyrie Entertainment has primarily existed as a support studio in the past, having worked on franchises such as God of War, including the upcoming Ragnarok, as well as Forza Motorsport, Infamous, and Twisted Metal. The only game the studio has made on its own was free to play tower defense game Guns Up, which PlayStation published for them. In a press release, head of PlayStation Studios Herman Holst stated, quote, Valkyrie Entertainment is a highly adaptable and respected studio, which has produced high quality work on a range of platforms from console to PC and a variety of styles from action to games as a service titles. Valkyrie's diverse capabilities will be welcomed by every team at PlayStation Studios as we continue to focus on delivering extraordinary gaming experiences, end quote. In regards to what exactly Valkyrie will be working on, Holst added on Twitter, quote, the studio will be making invaluable contributions to key PlayStation Studios franchises, basically confirming that they will remain a support studio. Valkyrie Entertainment will become PlayStation's 17th internal studio and the fifth studio acquired in 2021. What do you think?
Again, another studio coming in with some, you know, some nice blood attached to it with things we've seen them do with God of War or Forza, Twisted Metal, stuff like that. Basically, what Sony's done here, and it's a support studio. They went out and basically found one of the best, or took one of the best role players they could find and added it into their team.
Mm-hmm.
What I think's interesting here is, Valkyrie's done stuff from consoles to PC that you would assume that would help with some ports they want to do with some probably PlayStation exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, they have a lot of experience with these games as service titles now, and that seems to be something that pops up a lot more. So my presumption is in the next 3 years, we'll start seeing Valkyrie pop up on these things a lot on these PC ports
Mm,
and whatever kind of games as a service, whoever needs help coming
yeah.
from a first party, maybe they kind of seem like they're going to be kind of like a jack of all trades that can kind of bolster and I guess troubleshoot any kind of issues people run into.
Yeah, I think you make a couple of really valid points and a couple of things that I hadn't really thought about. I think that they are going to help the PC porting effort from PlayStation Studios. I also think it's a pretty good observation and bet that they will help support games as a service, meaning these PlayStation teams that are starting to make these multiplayer games that we have heard rumors of, these live service titles that we have heard rumors of. I guess as an example, for instance, if The Last of Us Factions is a live service game that they are going to, support for 3, 4 years, something like that. Sure, there's always going to be some some developers from Naughty Dog supporting that game, but wouldn't it make more sense to have just maybe 4 or 5 people from Naughty Dog kind of oversee that project once it's done, and then have a team of 15 or 20 people from Valkyrie be
That
like
know what they're doing.
be the boots on the ground and support that long term. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't tie up 20 people at Naughty Dog when you can just bring 20 people from Valkyrie over. And so that's a good point. I think that actually makes sense to me if something like that ends up happening. And one of the weird things about them is that they did have a couple of original games that they were developing
Mhm.
when they got acquired. So it's curious if those will ever see the light of day, or if they're just DOA for now and they're literally just going to be support studio all the time. We've seen, though, in the past where support studios, like the one that's out in San Diego, the Visual Art Service Group, if you remember, they are a support studio for like art and assets and that sort of thing. And they are the studio that was rumored for a while to be making the Uncharted remake or sequel or whatever. So
Right.
there's some precedent there for these support teams within Sony to spin off and do their own things one day. So we'll see. But the other thing I want to say about this is Sony, like we've talked about before, Sony obviously buys their fifth studio this year. A couple of those have been big, like Housemarque, like Blue Point, obviously. But the others, like Nix's, now this team here, Valkyrie, they are very tactical.
Mhm.
Nix's, they got to do PC ports, like we talked about. Valkyrie feels like another very tactical acquisition for the reasons that we just discussed. To me, in a way, that's more interesting. I won't say exciting per se, but it's more interesting than if PlayStation just went out and said, "Oh, we're going to buy, I don't know, we're going to buy Bethesda, like,
Mhm.
like Microsoft did, or we're going to buy Capcom or whoever the fuck." Like, that's obviously bigger news and that's more important, but is it more interesting? I don't know that.
No.
So I think it's very interesting to see what these teams are going to be doing and how it affects PlayStation Studios going forward, meaning how many projects are they going to have going on? How quickly are we
Mhm.
going to get projects? That sort of thing. Those are the things that or questions that I have, I guess, that
Yeah,
interest me.
I think if you look at their well, if you look at any of their purchases, but really this year with the 5 they bought, you kind of see the blueprint of what they're trying to do. The 2
Mhm.
things are well, I guess the 3 things they're trying to do. One is to get exclusives on the PC to tap into that market as another revenue source. 2, get assets that can help them get games out quicker.
Mhm.
And then I think the 3rd thing they're doing is basically picking studios that match the performance and the quality they expect, but also can check at least one of those other 2 boxes, right?
Right.
So, and this, Valkyrie seems to check both of those boxes, which is a nice thing. But yeah, there's a clear direct strategy that they're operating on. I think it's harder to argue that for Microsoft necessarily.
Sure. Number three, developer at Naughty Dog revealed new details on the PlayStation blog this week regarding their upcoming remaster of Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Both titles will get a litany of new graphical modes, including options for native 4K, 60 frames per second, and 120 frames per second. More importantly, the upgrade to the PS5 also includes 3D audio support, haptic feedback, and adaptive trigger support. The Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection will cost you $49.99 US dollars. Or if you own either title on PS4, you can pay a mere $10 fee to upgrade both games to the PS5 versions. Of course, if you have claimed the PlayStation Plus version of Uncharted 4, that will not allow you access to the $10 upgrade path. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting, and if it's a game you haven't played before, this is definitely the version you want to play, it seems like. But,
Hmm.
I know it's only $10 for me to upgrade it, but like, I don't know that I'll do it.
Sure.
I mean, I've already played it, I've already beat it. I don't, it's weird. It's like, I can rewatch movies, I can re-listen to music over and over again, but like playing a video game story or like listening to a stand-up special, those things typically have like one hit for me. I
Sure.
don't really go back to them. And that's weird to me because like I mean, obviously movies have the same story every time you watch them, like literally nothing changes. So
Right.
why does the game that can have some nuance in it, why do I not go back to it? I don't know. But
It's a good
that
question.
clearly it's a business model that works to keep doing it, but I don't know. This isn't necessarily for me, is I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's weird for me too because it's another one of those upgrades, another one of those remasters like Ghost of Tsushima, like Death Stranding that I would like to have, but I'm not going to pay $50 for me because someone who had physical versions of those games and now has a digital PS5, not going to pay $50 for that. And then of course PlayStation's very good about these things now where they screw PlayStation Plus users out of upgrades for games.
I think that's retarded, by the way.
Well, if you remember back several months ago, they were giving it away. I think they gave Uncharted 4 away to like everybody
Yeah.
during like the play at home thing or whatever.
Mhm.
It was like, I think we talked about how like 16 or 18, maybe 20 million people redeemed that game.
Right.
Okay. If you just honor that, if half of those people paid $10 for an upgrade, how much money is that? If 10 million of those people paid
Yeah.
$10 to upgrade that game.
$80 million.
Yeah. I mean, of course, not all those people have a PS5, but like, do the fucking math, guys.
Yeah, it's
Like,
okay, guys. You'll make more money by doing it that way. There's no way they're gonna make $8 million just on the full price thing.
yeah, I don't know. So not only can you make a shit ton of money, you can generate a shit ton of goodwill, and it's just another one of those moves that Sony makes, like we talked about. It's just like it doesn't always make fucking sense, but it is what it is. Number four, Insider and our boy Tom Henderson reported that Assassin's Creed Valhalla will get a surprise DLC this week with the game's next title update. The title update will also rework game files, making the game take up less space on all platforms, which is always welcome news. And Tom also claimed that Valhalla's 2022 expansion will clock in with around 40 hours of new God of War style content. Fucking hell. And finally, Henderson also reported that the unannounced new Splinter Cell game that is in development at Ubisoft will be an open world game of sorts, something akin to the recently released Halo Infinite. Any thoughts?
40 hours on a DLC is like, what's interesting? People
Yeah.
bitch and moan about DLCs, but this is basically like a full game on a
Oh, yeah.
DLC within the world, which
Uh-huh.
is kind of wild to me. And I've already seen, if you go onto like Reddit, Assassin's Creed Reddit, or even on Twitter and just search Valhalla, like people, there's people that like that's all they do is play this game. Like that's all
Absolutely.
they do. And it's so strange to me. It's just so interesting the things you get sucked into game wise, and there's got to be some sort of psychology behind it. I would love to see it, but I mean, good for these guys, I guess. I don't know. It's not gonna make me play it. It's just not my thing.
It's too much.
Yeah, and that's another point too. Is like that's the thing about the Ghost of Tsushima. The update we got with the add-on, like it didn't feel like too much or too little. It felt like the right amount, and it was a nice addition to the game. And it just seems like every time we get a DLC, it's either way too much or way too little. It's too little for the price, or it's just so much, you're just like, "I can't deal with that right now."
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
The second part here about this Splinter Cell game, do I want that to be open world? I don't know what I think about that. I don't know if I like that.
They're gonna like we've talked about it. I've said it. They're gonna figure out a way to totally bastardize that franchise, guys. They're gonna figure out a way to Ubisoft it, and I just so just buckle up. With the answer is that we don't need an open world Splinter Cell game. We don't need
Yeah.
that now,
Oh,
but we're gonna get one.
yeah. And what I feel like is it's gonna be open world, but not it's gonna be open world, but they're still gonna make you go certain paths, and, like,
Mm,
there's gonna be so much of the map you can't access, but you could just see it.
mm.
That makes sense.
Kind of like
That's what I feel
Uncharted
like.
4 in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that game's not an open world to me at all.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, I would agree with that, yes. It's, like, gonna be very structured, but it's gonna be, like, it's gonna feel "open world," quote, unquote.
Well, that would be fine. I could live with that, but they've got to figure out a way to sell us cosmetic items and fucking NFTs that we're going to talk about here in a minute. Number 5, Sony has patented game systems from Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, Travis, including terrain and route building features. A recently discovered filing reveals the patent was first submitted back in 2019, but was just recently approved on December the 7th by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. The language of the patent application is a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but it boils down to this: Sony has patented the methods for other players to influence the world of other players, even when playing in single player. One example is the way paths got wider as more players traversed that path in Death Stranding. This is the second recent example of game companies patenting game mechanics after the previously mentioned Warner Brothers games patented the Nemesis system and seen in their games from the Middle Earth series. So, any thoughts on patenting game systems?
I always have a kinda love-hate with patents. On one hand, imagine if the person who invented, like, windshield wipers or the seatbelt, I'm assuming they didn't do this, but imagine you know, Ford bought the patent and only a Ford you could get a seatbelt in.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so when I hear about these things, I'm like, on one hand, I'm glad Sony's doing this as opposed to like a console or a company I don't play, because then I'm losing it. So on that hand, I guess it's the better of the evil. But again, having more people have access to these types of things, I feel like is only going to make them better. They'll be able to troubleshoot them. They'll be able to use them in ways maybe that Sony doesn't think of, and then they can piggyback off of that in their own ways. Like, yeah, that's kind of where I'm stuck at with this. It's like I remember I was telling you about the GTA pathway, how like the cars would get stuck on things sometimes it's because the car only knew to go one way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a game that's on multiple systems that Rockstar uses. I don't know, I just when it comes to game mechanics, I kinda just want them to be open sourced in a way, and not necessarily open source where they could
Yeah.
be hacked and messed up like an Android, but you know what I mean, like, they could be
Yeah.
used in multiple ways. That's kinda my thing with this.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of patenting game mechanics. I think that's a very slippery slope and it stifles innovation in a way. It keeps games from getting better. I could just imagine the Nemesis system, which is very cool, by the way. Like in Shadow of
Right.
War, it's awesome. So imagine that in other games, like Wonder Woman, for instance. But imagine in something else besides that. Like imagine a Nemesis system in a game like The Division, where you're roaming around New York and you have like one gang leader. You have a gang leader who
Mhm.
kills you, and then all of a sudden he gets elevated to like whatever, like whatever the head guy in the gang or something like that. And so, but you're never going to get that, not in a game like unless Warner Brothers makes that game. And now, although I think the Death Stranding mechanics are awesome. Like that's one of the coolest features of the game. Like you don't ever really see other players per se, but you know that things are happening. They're around, and you don't feel alone in a weird way. It's awesome. Now we're only going to get that in PlayStation games. Now it's great for
Right.
us because we're not going to miss out on it. But I don't like the precedent, is what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
I think it just keeps things from getting better. So number 6, Sony has fired PlayStation Network Senior Vice President of Engineering George Cassiopo after he appeared in an amateur pedophile sting operation video last weekend. Travis Cassiopo arranged to meet up with a decoy posing as a 15-year-old boy that he met on the dating app Grindr. The pedophile joined Sony's PlayStation Network division back in 2013, and there were additional photos and screenshots shared by vigilante group People vs. Predators that showed Cassiopo knowingly arranging to meet a 15-year-old boy. So good fucking riddance. Any thoughts?
I'm just yeah, like you said, good riddance. That's about all I have to say. I have
Yeah,
very strong opinions about pedophiles, so, maybe this isn't the place for that, but,
yeah,
hopefully he gets more things coming his way than just losing his job. I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know,
yeah.
man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, people are sick, and this guy is a sick bastard, and he's a pedophile, and he's gone now. So that's all that matters. And in the pictures that I saw online, he looks exactly like what you would think he would look like, just like a creep. So, anyway, see you, George. Number 7, PlayStation released the PlayStation Store's top downloads for the month of November. And on PlayStation 5, the most downloaded game was Call of Duty Vanguard, followed by Battlefield 2042, GTA Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, NBA 2K22, Spider Man Miles Morales, Guardians of the Galaxy, Madden NFL 22, Far Cry 6, The Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim Special Edition, FIFA 22, Deathloop, Riders Republic, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Back for Blood, Demon Souls, Game of Thrones, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Doom Eternal, and Resident Evil Village. On PS4, the most downloaded game was Vanguard, followed by Battlefield 2042, NBA 2K22, Madden 22, GTA 5, GTA Trilogy The Definitive Edition, FIFA 22, Jump Force, Red Dead Redemption 2, Minecraft, Spider Man Miles Morales, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Far Cry 6, The Crew 2, UFC 4, The Last of Us Part 2, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or Valhalla as I have here, and then Naruto to Boruto, Shinobi Striker at 18, followed by Farming Simulator 22 and Back for Blood. And then over on the PSVR, the most downloaded game was, of course, Beat Saber, followed by Gun Club VR, Job Simulator, Skyrim VR, Sniper Elite VR, Surgeon Simulator Experience Reality, Rick and Morty Virtual Reality, Gorn, Swordsman VR, and Superhot VR. And then finally, in the free to play category, Fortnite regains its crown as the most downloaded game, followed by Call of Duty Warzone, Rocket League, Apex Legends, Rec Room, Genshin Impact, Destiny 2, Brawlhalla, eFootball 2022, and Splitgate at number 10. Is there anything that stands out to you on any of these here?
Yeah, well, PSVR and free to play, nothing really,
Yeah.
at all. That doesn't really interest me. As far as the 4 and the
Mhm.
5 go, COD and Battlefield at the top are expected.
Mhm.
Us having a game like the GTA trilogy that high on both of these lists and it doesn't work all the time isn't a great look. That doesn't
Yeah.
really encourage them to actually make them work. I was a little disappointed Far Cry was that low, but again, when you look at what's ahead of it, I guess it's not
Mhm.
really that bad. Like, that's good for it, I think. Riders Republic and Deathloop still hanging on the 5, that's nice. But after that, nothing too real crazy other than Jump Force because I don't remember what that is.
Yeah, it's like a Dragon Ball Z fighting game or something.
Oh. Sure. Oh, Breakpoint on the 4. What are we doing there?
Oh, yeah, it snuck back in there. And also for me, Spider-Man Miles Morales getting back in there at number 5 on PS5. It's just hanging on there. It's consistently in the top downloads, which is crazy. And then also, like you said, Far Cry 6 dropped down a little bit after being the top download in October. Obviously, they're competing with Vanguard and Battlefield in the month of November. So there's that. Let's see. Anything else here that stands out to me?
What's Gun Club VR? Is that just like a Republican Party dinner?
It might be. It might be. I honestly don't remember that being on here before, so maybe that's a new addition. I don't know, but I've never heard of that or seen anything about that. And then Splitgate is hanging in there at number 10. I think it was like 9 or 10 last month, and then eFootball, which was number 1 last month, if you'll remember, for the month of October, was number 1, and it's still there somehow at number 9. So it just continues to show you what kind of opportunity they missed out on. And yeah, that's about it. It's a pretty normal list for the month of November. Number 8, Travis, we have a lot of news nuggets here as well, although not as many as usual, but still a good number here. So we'll jump into these and feel free to join me. First nugget here, Travis. Rockstar Games announced a large story update for GTA Online called The Contract. The new content will see main game protagonist Franklin Clinton make his return, with the plot picking up after the events of the single player story. Franklin gets linked up with none other than Dr. Dre, who is not really a doctor, if that will surprise you. He becomes a high profile client of his celebrity solutions agency. The update will also include new gear, new vehicles, and a new property called The Agency. The update will launch on December the 15th.
I can't I can't imagine that there isn't a real agency like this in the world. Maybe Dr.
Right.
Dre doesn't run it, but somebody does.
Yeah, to just
And
solves problems.
yeah, like somebody has a nude of like, I don't know, whoever's famous, pick a famous person, Scarlett Johansson, and they send out this guy and he just beats the shit out of him and takes his phone and breaks it. Like, that's gotta
Yeah,
be a thing.
I agree. It's real. Also, I wanted to say that GTA continues to get much better content than Red Dead Redemption 2 and or Red Dead Online. And it's going to continue like that forever because Rockstar doesn't give a shit about Red Dead Online. And yeah, it's dead. So just better get
It's
rid.
dead.
It's dead. You just better get used to GTA Online. So
Yeah, I saw a post the other day about like all the shit on GTA since the last Red Dead actual content update, basically.
yeah,
I mean, it's like it's almost like they have 2 people on the Red Dead server.
pretty much. Pretty much. It's pretty stupid. Next nugget, PlayStation Now added Celeste, Final Fantasy X X2 HD Remaster, GTA 3 The Definitive Edition, John Wick Hex, and Spitlings to the service for December's new offerings. I may check out that John Wick game. I don't know. Developer Guerrilla Games released another PlayStation blog post this week detailing enhancements and additions to Combat and Horizon Forbidden West. If you're interested, I'm trying to go dark on that game a little bit. Website Push Square reported that Gran Turismo 7 has been rated by North America's ESRB game rating board, which means that no further delays are likely ahead of its March 4th release.
Yeah, I bet I got an E for everyone.
It did, but there's a little bit of alcohol in there, it says.
It's not for everyone. If you guys wanna get fucked online, let me know.
Challengers accepted. Also, indie Metroidvania game Blasphemous received its last free post launch content update called Wound of Eventide. Blasphemous 2 is currently on pace to arrive in 2023. Garfield has joined Nickelodeon All Star Brawl as the game's first DLC character.
I don't know why that is funny to me, but it is.
It is me too. I love Garfield. I loved Garfield growing up. I had a Garfield stuffed animal and shit.
You know what's low key? Garfield really set the tone for our generation's viewpoint of the world.
It really did when you think about it, didn't it?
It's just fucking Monday and I wanna eat.
Uh huh. That's a good point. Also, the first expansion for Jurassic World Evolution 2, called Early Cretaceous, is now available. Third party peripheral manufacturer Scuf announced and sold out their first batch of PS5 DualSense controllers this week. Their version is called the Scuf Reflex, and it comes in a base version for $200 or the more expensive Reflex Pro and Reflex FPS models.
I can't imagine, buying a controller like that.
I can't either. Why would you spend the same half of what you paid for the system for a controller?
especially when I want to throw it through the drywall.
Blue Box Game Studios has surfaced yet again to let us know that the game's playable prologue is coming in early 2022, with more info coming soon. Curiously, this info just randomly appeared on Abandoned's PS5 game info page.
Oh god, they
Okay,
can fuck off.
I know. I'm getting tired of this. They better shit or get off the pot soon. SnowRunner received a new update this week called Haul and Hustle that adds a new map, new vehicles, a photo mode, and cross platform play. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that developer CD Projekt Red has entered settlement negotiations with its own investors over a lawsuit filed after the disastrous launch of Cyberpunk 2077, which claimed that CDPR, otherwise known as CD Projekt Red, failed to disclose the state of its game and made misleading statements on its quality. Sony will change its Sony Rewards point system starting January 1st, with users only receiving points for PlayStation Store purchases made with Sony or PlayStation Visa credit cards. That's a fucking joke. Stupid. Housemarque's Harry Kruger and Michael Haveri, perhaps, told Edge magazine that due to the positive response to the recently added suspend cycle feature, the studio is considering adding additional save options for players while maintaining the quote unquote single run experience.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, doesn't sound like a bad thing. Also, actor and comedian Nick Offerman has joined HBO's The Last of Us television series in the role of Bill, which had to be recast following the departure of actor Con O'Neill.
What happened to Con O'Neill?
I don't know. I don't even know who that guy is. Said he had a scheduling conflict, actually. I remember that.
Okay.
Scheduling conflict for an HBO show that's based
Right.
off
What
one
do
of the
you
best selling video games ever.
Right, yeah, what's your conflict? You gotta go to jail?
Also, Ubisoft announced it will begin selling NFTs, Travis, through its new Ubisoft Quartz platform. The first NFTs will hit Ghost Recon Breakpoint as collectible cosmetics, which can then be resold to other players on the Quartz market for real cash. And just so you know, the reveal video of this was delisted by Ubisoft after it had a 95% dislike rate.
Yeah, because it's retarded. Another
It's
way for them
so
to make
stupid.
money, like, fuck off.
Oh my God, it's so dumb. And then we're going to have all kinds in the next 5 years. Also, PlayStation, Polyphony Digital, and Porsche announced that the Porsche Vision Gran Turismo, Porsche's first concept car created specifically for use in a video game, it will be available exclusively in the upcoming Gran Turismo 7.
I concept cars are just so stupid on that game, like, nobody really uses them unless they make us do it for a daily race.
Former Call of Duty veteran and Respawn Entertainment co founder Chad Grenier has departed Respawn after 11 years at the studio. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches this week: Battlefield 2042, Insurgency Sandstorm, Terraria, Apex Legends, Knockout City, Call of Duty Vanguard, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Chivalry 2, For Honor, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl, PUBG, Fallout 76, and FIFA 22. Also, developer Mainframe's cloud based MMO will no longer be published by Xbox Game Studios and therefore no longer an Xbox console exclusive after acquiring $23 million in funding from another source, according to GamesBeat's Jeff Grubb.
Probably Nintendo.
Wouldn't that be some shit? Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan has filed a patent that appears to be some sort of input device for PSVR 2, which focuses on accurately tracking the location and movement of the player's hands.
Oh, that sounds important.
It does, but this is also a weird one because they've already revealed the controllers for PSVR 2, like last year.
They just didn't know how they were gonna work.
Yeah, so what is this? Is this something else, a different type of controller? Curious. Next nugget: Crash Bandicoot 4 developer Toys for Bob appears to be hiring for a non Call of Duty project after all, according to new job listings, so maybe they're free. Insider Tom Henderson revealed that next year's Modern Warfare 2 will come to both PS4 and PS5, but will likely be the last Call of Duty entry that comes to last gen consoles. Ori series developer Moon Studios has reached a publishing agreement with Private Division, meaning that their next game will not be exclusive to Xbox, and who was their previous publishing partner. Hogwarts Legacy developers Avalanche Software and Portkey Games have enlisted the help of fellow developers Sumo Nottingham and Red Kite Games to assist with ongoing development of the open world RPG. Website Gamatsu reported that top down puzzle adventure game One Shot will come to PS4 sometime in 2022. Hand drawn 2D Metroidvania game After Image was announced for PS4 and PS5 and is due out sometime in 2022. Developer Arc System Works will update BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle with rollback netcode on PS4 sometime in 2022. Kill, the Calumniation games, which we talk about every other episode on here, will release on PS4 and PS5 on June the 7th in North America and June 10th in Europe. Can't wait to get that over with. Saber Interactive announced a rally racing game, Dakar Desert Rally, for PS4 and PS5, and it will launch sometime next year.
I have no hope for that.
Did you watch the gameplay trailer for it yet?
I don't need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Saber Interactive also announced that anti-gravity racing game sequel Redout 2 for both PS4 and PS5, and that it will launch sometime in 2022. Japanese-inspired RPG Edge of Eternity will come to PS4 and PS5 on February 10th.
It's a great song by Fleetwood Mac.
Interactive poem game A Memoir Blue, Computer Blue, will launch on PS4 and PS5 on February the 10th. Those two are going to battle. Edge of Eternity and A Memoir Blue are going to battle it out on February 10th. Good luck. Developer Rebellion announced first-person shooter Sniper Elite 5 for PS4 and PS5, and it will launch sometime next year. Travis is rock hard.
Perfect. I'll play those till I die.
There you go.
Just keep rolling them out. I don't even care.
And finally, Travis, Gamatsu reported that Chinese communist mega publisher Tencent Games announced the launch of a new sub-publishing label called Level Infinite, which will be quote-unquote dedicated to delivering high-quality games to a global audience.
That spread communism.
And spread communism throughout this beautiful land. Whatever. All right. That's all for the news this week. I'm going to turn it over to Travis now for a pretty good list of new releases here. Take it away.
On the 6th, we had My Universe Doctors and Nurses and Rover Mechanic Simulator, which I assume is you're on a rover on another world.
I would say so.
On December the 7th, shout out to Pearl Harbor, we had After the Fall, Beyond a Steel Sky, Ever Forward, Gear.Club Unlimited 2, Godfall Challenger Edition, which I assume will explode as it moves up the charts, Heavenly Bodies, Kona, Serious Sam 4, 12 Minutes, White Shadows. On the 8th, we have Ball Lab, great place, Transient Extended Edition.
You can get you a new ball there.
Yeah. Can you being homeless is so popular they made a game about it. On December the 9th, we have Monopoly Madness, Phoenix Point, Rico London, which is about the one really dumb penguin in Madagascar. It's Silver Screen Story, also known as a movie, and Space Kabam.
Mm-hmm.
On the 10th, we have A Year of Springs, Alexio, Ice Cream Break, Memories of East Coast, Mini Madness, Sushi Run, Vaporum, World Quiz, Wukong, and Witchwood. Oh, so close. And that is all the new games.
It is, and there's not really any big ones on here now that I see this. I'm trying to think. I don't even know. What's a big one? I don't know.
What's a big one?
I guess really Godfall. I don't know. Heavenly
Yeah, that's
Bodies has
about
gotten
it.
reviewed. Yeah, Heavenly Bodies has gotten reviewed pretty well, and that's that physics-based puzzle
Mhm.
space station game I've told you about, but it's only
Yeah.
local co-op, which I think is holding
Yeah,
it
it looks
back.
cool, but yeah, local co-op kind of.
If it was online, I would 100% have gotten it already, so we could play it. But that's really it. There's not much else. The Witchwood game looks interesting. I almost bought it the other night, but I'll probably wait. I feel like that's going to be a PS Plus game at some point, or at least be on a deep sell pretty soon. So that's it. So let's start to wrap the show up here, Travis, by discussing what we have been playing. And I know you've had a busy week. let's talk about if you've been playing anything and anything that you're looking forward to.
I played a little 2K, and I did fuck all on 2K, and then we played Battlefield. And I have to say that the with the new update, it does feel a lot better. The DM7 is really nice. The
Hmm.
second assault rifle, like what is it, like the AK-24 or something like that, doesn't really it doesn't really move. It reminds me of the PP90 on like one of the Call of Duties where you could just hold it on people and just give
Mm.
them hell. I finally got the 24 unlocked, the new sniper, or well, the next sniper that I really like the DX1, I think, something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So as I get some more stuff unlocked on it, like some, foregrip and whatnot, maybe a different sight, I think I'll be okay on it. And outside of that, I haven't played much. Oh, I did play Hitman one night. Forgot
Oh
about
yeah.
that. I played the elusive target, which I forgot what he was called already, or she was called. Did this really elaborate sneaking around thing and poisoned her drink, and then the poison did. I thought she was just gonna die, but she didn't. So I was trying to do it as fast as I could. So, I followed her, found her track, figure out a way where she was gonna go, poisoned her drink, perfect. So I reload, do the whole thing, and then I poison it, run all the way down to my exit door so I can exit immediately, so I can get like my time bonus. And it didn't kill her, it just made her sick. So she just went to the bathroom, so I had to fucking reload and do it again.
Jesus.
But yeah, so I got 5 stars on that. It was like a 4.5 minute run. I don't even remember where I was in the world on the leaderboard. And then I did part of the holiday package they're doing. You can play Paris, which is one of the maps on the first Hitman of this latest trilogy. After you beat it, you get like a Santa outfit, and in the inside of the level, you have to kill Harry and Marv that are named after the Home Alone guys. One's a security guard, just like how I think it was Harry was a cop in the middle of the first Home Alone, and then
Oh.
Marv is dressed
Hmm.
like with a beanie and he's running around the place like he's paranoid. But that one actually took me some time to figure out. I think it took me probably 30 minutes of just messing around with it to come up with a plan that I thought was solid. And on those things, there's not a save, so you have to do it in one run. Anyway, I beat it and got the Santa suit, and then I thought, well, I'll play the game again and wear the Santa suit because I thought the Santa suit would give me like immunity to run around, and it did not. So it actually made me more conspicuous, which I did not expect. But the
That's
cool part about
hilarious.
if you go and play that board, there's like presents hidden everywhere, and you can open the present and there'll be like a random item in it. So it could be like a ninja star or a shovel or I found explosive snow globes. So um, there's kind of stuff hidden everywhere that kind of makes it fun. If you go back and play it, you can kill the guys in some pretty creative ways. But yeah, that's all I played. And then F1 is 50% off right now until the 13th.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know what day it is. And
It's the 11th. You got 2 days.
I want to say FIFA is $40 until the 13th too. I got an update on my wish list the other day, so keeping that in mind.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on FIFA to be 30. All right. Well, let's see. I played some Battlefield 2042 as you mentioned. We played. I guess it was last night. We played for a while, and we played one other night this week. And I I don't know, man. I still really enjoy the game. It's even gotten a lot better in my opinion. Like you said, after the new update with the hit registration and everything, I was really having fun using the DM7 last night. I did finally. I don't know if it was a glitch or what, but after you got off and I started to get off too, when I backed out at the main screen, it had given me that shotgun skin or whatever
Oh,
for doing the
cool.
weekly mission. So I've got
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna maybe try that out if we play it tonight. Use that a little bit. The shotgun dicks pretty hard on there, but yeah, it's a fun game. I recommend it actually to people who like competitive shooters. And then also played some more Far Cry 6 this week. I played a little bit with John one night, and then one night I played by myself. And that game is just fun to mess around in and, do a couple missions, this and that. And it's hilarious. I mean, it really is a funny game and it's just fun to play. And sometimes you just want to play a game that's just fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can just turn your brain off, you can
Right.
just blow stuff up, you can just do nonsense.
Go see El
So it's
Chapo.
that. Yeah, see, WAPO. So it's that game, and I recommend it too, just for fun. I mean, I don't know. I like it a lot. And then also, I mixed in a little bit of Godfall this week, having it be a free PlayStation Plus game, sort of inspired me. So I re-downloaded it. I just wanted to play it a little bit, see what it was about, and play like a couple like missions basically on there just to get another little taste of it. And still a game with really good combat that kind of misses the mark a little bit in ways. I think they've made it a little bit too complicated, and it suffers from that thing of where when you take a break from a game for a long time and you come back and you don't have any idea what's going on, like that happened to me one time with the Division. Then
Yeah.
you gotta like relearn everything as these live service games like change their systems and their equipment stats and how they handle things like that. It's just overwhelming, and there's got to be a better way to do that stuff. Like I'm all for improving and making things better in live service games, and you obviously don't want to stay static or stagnant. Like if something makes more sense to change, then by all means do it. But there's got to be a better way to like not on well not onboard but reboard returning players to the game, and also onboard new players and just kind of familiarize the new systems. There's got to be a better way for developers to do that, but I don't know. And then the last thing I played was the Matrix Awakens, that Unreal Engine 5 demo on PS5, and like I said, that shit is incredible. I do recommend checking that out. Graphically, the thing that really I guess stood out to me the most is the destruction and the damage, the deformation on the vehicles. Because
Right.
I was just fascinated. I just kept running my car into other cars just so just so I could see how it affected it, and it's some impressive shit. So
It's got a little BeamNG and a little Wreckfest in it.
yeah, it's insane, and then the graphics in general are just insane. The lighting and the road, the asphalt looks real, shit like that. It's wild, man. So the future isn't. It's the cool thing about it is that the future's not here quite yet. Like what games
Really?
will
Is that
look
how
like
that
at the
works?
end of. I mean, of asshole. I mean, of this generation of. I mean, of this generation of consoles, like we've got the PS5, but like, what games are going to look like in 5 years when we're like at the end of the life cycle? Like, this is the
Yeah.
first kind of glimpse of that, is what I'm trying to say. So, and like, it's that way every generation of console, but it's exciting to see, where we're going to be at, and it's crazy. I don't know. So definitely check it out if you want to see a little glimpse into the future that's not here yet, Travis. And yeah, so that's all I'll play this week, and we'll get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, don't forget to rate or review, subscribe, most importantly as well. But really, most importantly, is sharing us with a friend or a loved one who you think may enjoy a PlayStation podcast where they can get everything under the roof, under the sun, even in less than 90 minutes every week, all in one spot. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great week. Hope you stay safe. Talk at you guys next week. Bye bye.